Hi everyone, my name is Abdul Samir Sohail Mohammed. In this session, we are going to have a demonstration on integration of Oracle Fusion application with SailPoint Identity IQ using Web Services Connector. So let us try to understand the configuration of Oracle Fusion application in SailPoint Identity IQ. Here you can see we have integrated SailPoint Oracle Fusion to SailPoint Identity IQ using a Web Services Connector. Here you can see we have used the basic authentication as our authentication method to form a connectivity between Oracle Fusion application and SailPoint Identity IQ. This specifies that we will be using base URL and username password of the resource owner to form a connectivity between Oracle Fusion application and SailPoint. Coming to our connector operations, we have configured the test connection operation, which tests the connectivity between Oracle Fusion application and SailPoint Identity IQ. And our next operation is account aggregation operation. Here we have used two account aggregation operations. One is for get all workers and other is for get all user accounts. Here get all workers account aggregation operation will be the parent endpoint of get all user accounts account aggregation operation. Here from get all workers API we will be getting all the worker records present in Oracle Fusion application to SailPoint Identity IQ. Here the HTTP method we will be using is get, and as part of the response we will be capturing attributes such as period of service ID, worker's unique ID, action code, start date, legal employer name, manager's unique ID of line manager, grade code, job code, legal entity ID, assignment number, display name, and many more attributes. Coming to get all user accounts account aggregation operation. Here we will be fetching all the user accounts present in Oracle Fusion application to SailPoint Identity IQ. Here we will be getting information of user accounts and the roles assigned to that particular user account using this API. The HTTP method we'll be using is get. As part of the response, we will be capturing attributes such as person number, suspended flag, username, user ID, GUID, and user account roles information. Coming to our next operation, that is group aggregation. Here we will be getting all the roles present in Oracle Fusion to SailPoint Identity IQ. Here the HTTP method we will be using is get. As part of the response, we will be capturing attributes such as role name, description, active flag, role code, and role ID. Coming to our next operation, that is create account. Basically, this operation is used to create an account in Oracle Fusion. The HTTP method we will be using is post. As part of the body, we will be passing attributes such as legal entity ID, first name, last name, work email, address line 1, city, country, gender, and many more attributes. Coming to our next operation, that is update accounts. Here we have used two update accounts operations. One updates the employee information and other updates the employee's assignments information. The update employee API requires worker's unique ID or employee's unique ID of that particular account to be updated. The HTTP method we'll be using is patch. This API is used to update the employee's information such as first name, last name, display name, work email, username, address line 1, work mobile phone number, work phone number. And coming to our next update account, which updates the assignments information of that particular account. Here, as part of the context URL, we will be passing the worker's unique ID or employee's unique ID and assignment's unique ID of that particular account to be updated. And the HTTP method we will be using is patch. Basically, this API is used to update attributes such as department ID, business unit ID, job ID, grade ID, and legal entity ID. Coming to our next operation, that is disable account. Basically, this operation is used to disable an account in Oracle Fusion. Here, we will be passing worker's unique ID and period of service ID as part of the context URL of the account to be disabled. The HTTP method we will be using is post. As part of the request body, we will be passing attributes such as action code and termination date. Coming to our next operation, that is remove entitlement. Basically, this operation is used to revoke a role from a user account. So we will be passing the account's GUID and role IDs of the roles to be revoked. As part of the context URL, we will be using HTTP method as delete. And our next operation is enable account. Basically, this operation is used to enable an account in Oracle Fusion. So as part of the context URL, we will be passing the workers or employee's unique ID of that particular account to be enabled. The HTTP method we will be using is patch. As part of the request body, we will be passing attributes such as action code, assignment number, assignment name, legal entity ID, business unit ID, job ID, grade ID, department ID, default expense account, manager ID, manager assignment ID, and manager type. Coming to the schema, we are managing two types of object types, that is account and group. As far as account object type is concerned, we will be using display name as the display attribute and person number as the identity attribute. And coming to the entitlement attribute, we will be using role IDs as the entitlement attribute. And as far as group object type is concerned, we will be using role name as the display name and role ID as the identity attribute and description as the description attribute. Coming to the provisioning policy, we will be using create account provisioning policy, which is used to pass attributes such as address line 1, legal entity ID, first name, last name, display name, work email, username, gender, work mobile phone number, city, assignment status, action code, business, country, and many more attributes to the provisioning plan. And we will be using enable account provisioning policy as well. Here we will be passing attributes such as default expense account, department ID, action code, business unit ID, and manager type to our provisioning plan. Coming to our correlation, we will be using email address and person number attribute as our correlation keys so that the accounts coming from Oracle Fusion application are correlated to correct identities in SailPoint. Here you can see we will be using rules, that is before provisioning rule and after provisioning rule. Here we will be passing attributes to our provisioning plan using the before provisioning rule, and we will be using after provisioning rule to perform certain actions after the provisioning plan has been executed. Oracle Fusion. So here you can see the test connection is successful. So let's discuss all the use cases one by one. So our first use case is create account. Here, according to this use case, we will be creating an account in Oracle Fusion if the account is created in truth source and the account is active in truth source as well. Basically, the create account operation starts in SailPoint using a business rule like Oracle Fusion, as you can see here. Basically, this rule checks whether the account is created in SuccessFactor, that is our truth source, and is active or not using our assignment rule. Now let us try to create an account in now here if you can see this identity got created in SuccessFactor and its date of joining is 3rd 4th 20, that is today's date. Now let's try to create an account for this identity. Basically, we will be running a refresh IdentityIQ task for this user to create an account in Oracle Fusion. The point to be noted here is we will be enabling two options called provision assignments and refresh assign detected rules and promote additional entitlements. So we will be saving and executing this task. So let's check whether our task has run or not. See, our task has been executed. So let's try to check whether account is created or not in Oracle Fusion. Now, if you can see, the account has been created in Oracle Fusion as well. So this is regarding create employee use case. Now we will be moving to our next use case called update employee. Here you can see for this user the display name is Sanjay Sangy Singbora, but in Oracle Fusion the display name is Sunjy. So we will be updating this. Basically, this is carried out using a refresh task. Point to be noted is the option called synchronous attributes should be enabled to update the attributes. So let's check whether our task has been executed or not. So here we can see the task has been executed. So let's try to check in our identity whether display name of the Oracle Fusion account has changed or not. Here you can see the display name has been updated. So this is regarding update use case. So our next use case is lever. Here our lifecycle event lever will be triggered in the last working day after identity has been reached. As part of the lever in Oracle Fusion, the account will get disabled. So basically we have configured a lifecycle event called lever which checks whether the last working day of the entity has been reached. If entity has been reached, then a workflow called lifecycle event lever will trigger, which eventually disables all the application accounts of that particular entity. Now, if you can see for this user, last working day has been reached, but in application accounts has been enabled. Now let's try to trigger lever for this identity. Here, the point is the process event should be enabled, which executes our lifecycle events. Now we'll save and execute this task. So as you can see, our event has been processed. So let's check whether the account has been disabled or not. So here you can see the application accounts, which includes Oracle Fusion, got disabled. So this is regarding the termination use case. So our next use case is rehire. Basically, the rehire process starts when an account is made active in our truth source, that is success factor. Basically, this is also detected using a lifecycle event called rehire. This is a lifecycle event we will be using. Now, let's try to check by running a rehire process for one of the identity. So here you can see that this user got rehired, so it is active in our truth source, but in Oracle Fusion it is still disabled. So let's try to run a rehire process for this user. So you can see the event has been processed. So let's check whether our identity, the account has been enabled or not. So you can see our Oracle Fusion account has been enabled. So this is our rehire use case. Please do subscribe to ENH for technical updates. Thank you.